I'm here. Don't worry. Had to go get my my driggy dink. Welcome back to the Build Show. I am your host, Ben Estrino, over here at the Empower Gaming Studio, aka a small room in my house. And tonight, we're either going to fix it or we're going to get that format hammer out and bleep it. So let's find out if we're going to fix it. I did not update the exclamation point build command because I'm being absolutely lazy tonight. But it's okay. I will explain as we go. So tonight, we have a local supporter who brought in their PC. They purchased this PC off of Facebook Marketplace, and I think they paid like $250 for this. Not the worst deal, but not the best deal. I think in general, the RAM itself is probably worth, I don't know, $80 to $100. The graphics card you could probably fetch $100. It's a GTX 1660. I don't know if it's a super or not. We'll find out. But we are going to reuse the graphics card. We are going to reuse the RAM. The CPU, however, is the biggest bottleneck. It is a i5 6500, I think, or 60 something. It's a 6000 series i5 that is completely outdated. Can't support Windows 11. He's just seeing terrible performance. And I think on top of that, it's on a hard drive. So the storage is very slow. So we have lots of work to do to bring this PC back to life. We are doing this for free, meaning we're not charging for the service, but they are paying for the hardware. So he did go out and he picked up his motherboard, CPU, and RAM for us to install. And he got a B550M VC Wi-Fi Pro Series by MSI. And he got a 512 gigabyte King spec NVMe Gen 3. This is the NX series SSD, so it's a solid SSD, especially if you're coming off of a hard drive, just trying to breathe some new life into the build itself. And then we have a Ryzen 5 5500 that we'll be using. So it's a platform upgrade as well as storage upgrade to get some more speed for modern software and modern gaming. The rest of the system we're going to reuse, so I'm going to try to clean it up at the best I can and see where we can get. But for the most part, it looks like he did a pretty good job cleaning it up. He said it was a lot dirtier than this when he dropped it off. Hey, Tony, welcome back to the Build Show, sir. TJ Wolf, hey, how's your day today? It's really hot here. Yes, it is very hot here as well. It's been floating around 100 over here, so the AC has just been cranked. And if you go outside or go anywhere, you remote start the car to turn it on and get some cool air going before you climb into it, because it is 1,000 degrees. I mean, well, actually 100. And probably in the car, it's probably 120 because we have all black cars. Cool. But Tony says, this is really cool what you're doing. I enjoy this stuff. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's fun. Fun stuff. So this will be the last stream that we have for the week. And then next week we'll have to we have a build coming, so it's probably going to be towards the end of the week when we do that one. But maybe we'll do the Alienware or something else. Ian, what's up, man? Welcome back to the Build Show. So hot, my tattoos are melting. I've never had that problem. I don't have any tattoos, except for the ones my daughter draws on me when she's drawing. She'll pen some tattoos on me. Those melt off very easily. Yeah, I agree with that. But so let's get started. So the main goal of this is to upgrade the platform, reuse everything else that's in there. So the CPU, the motherboard, and the SSD is going to be added. So we'll be taking all this out and installing that. And another benefit is he has a Wi-Fi card in here, which is a really old style card. I think it's an AC like 600. It's very slow. So he's going to get a little bit of a benefit off of the Wi-Fi that's included on the board. So that's another benefit. I never got a tattoo sober. Yeah, that would be the only time that I think I would ever probably be convinced to get a tattoo is when I'm not sober. But that's pretty rare for me. Very rare. I don't drink very much. Thank you. I wanted tats, but I was in the service. Once I retired, I went and said, ink me up. I don't blame you. Kind of a thing, usually when you're in the service. And thank you for your service, by the way. Usually when you're in the service, I know a lot of guys get pressured into it. Sometimes it's even a squad thing or even a platoon thing. I don't know. But here we go. Let's get started. So we're going to get started by removing all of this. Sounds fun. But this is a Lian Li, I think, 205 without the front cover. So somebody took the front cover off and put a mesh on there. So it's interesting. It's very creative. But that did make it so that there was mesh on the front. I don't know if this is removable or not, because it seems like it's an adhesive. It's an adhesive right to the case. So that's kind of silly. It makes it more difficult to clean the fans, and or remove the fans if you ever needed to remove them. You'd have to remove this mesh, and that's they used an adhesive all the way around to install that, and then some weird strip here in the middle. I don't understand that, but okay. I mean, it's interesting. I think it's a good idea because this was a 205 non-mesh case, probably. Could have even been a power spec case at some point, but it is definitely a Lian Li case. It's Lian Li branded. Nice cases during the time. What do you guys think? Should we keep this case, or should we look at another case? There's his storage. He's on a hard drive, which is absolutely terrible. So I'm glad we got the SSD. This is going to make a night and day difference when it comes to responsiveness for the system. I never bought a Kingspec NVMe before. Are those any good? I've seen them and wanted to buy them. Oh yeah, I've used Kingspec quite a bit. They're a decent brand. I think Roy, I don't know if he's here in the chat or not, but he's a follower and he's generally on YouTube, but sometimes he's on the Twitch. But he's in the Discord channel, TJ, if you want to ask him about it. But he was having an issue with a Kingspec drive, but it wasn't all the time. It was random issues. So if you want to ask him about the issues he had, personally, I've used them in a lot of builds, and I haven't had any of them fail. So that's a good sign, usually. So, hey Ben, got the PC set up? Oh, nice. Welcome back to the build show, sir. Mr. Boat PCs. Hey, what's up, man? Welcome back to the build show. Hey, first time here. What build we got going right now? So I know it's the build show, but we are actually doing a Fix It or Bleep It. So this is a local supporters PC that they brought to us, and we are going to do some upgrades for them tonight. So we're going from a i5 6th gen platform over to an AM4 Ryzen 5 5500. They bought this off of Facebook Marketplace and found out wasn't exactly running good, and it's on a hard drive. So we also got a 512 gigabyte SSD we're going to be installing as well. And we are doing the service for free. We are not charging anything. So if you are local and you want to bring your PC in, come on over. What's up, GM? Welcome to the build show over there on the Twitch. The fans look much better, and they must perform better. Upsiden? Nice. Yeah, I think they are. Fix it or bleep it. I love it. Yeah. So we haven't had to bleep it yet, but the bleep it involves a format hammer. Use your imagination. Thanks so much. I was just wondering. Yeah. Yeah, Kingspec is not a bad brand. Bonnet, what's up? Welcome to the Build Show. You built my PC yesterday. I love it, and I'm excited to get... Oh, yes. I have 2 more things I got to finish up on that, Bonnet. And I had actually meant to email you before I started the stream. So I've got 2 more things I got to finish on it, and then it's ready to go. So I will have it actually ready to go. I might even, like, in between systems, I might throw it on the bench and finish it for you, just so you can come pick it up if you wanted to. But it's worst case scenario, I will have it ready for pickup in the morning. But it is pretty much ready to go. If you wanted to, you could pick it up and take it. I just wanted to finish some of the testing, although I have no reasons to be concerned about it. It's just the process. How are you doing? Hey, what's up, Kraken? Welcome back to the Build Show. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself on this fine Thursday evening? Thank you so much. You're welcome. Ben, you able to let my boy Max lick the bowl after I left? I have not eaten dinner yet. So he's sitting here impatiently waiting, rolling his eyes at me because now we're streaming. I ran out of time, so I didn't get to eat. Those of you who don't know, Obsidian was just here and I was installing some fans for him. And he's a cool dude. He's also in the Discord, so if you guys like to follow along and enjoy the after parties, the after stream parties, join the Discord, ! Discord in the chat for the link. I'm good, man. Awesome, awesome. All right, so what we're going to get started with, the first question before we get started, should we give this man a new case? What do you guys think? I don't know if he's here in the chat. Are you here in the chat, local supporter? The PC that I'm working on? He says yes. Let's see. We have a couple of options. Wonder if he likes blue. Hey, what's up? Tony just dropped 5 memberships, gifted memberships. Thank you, sir. On the YouTube. You got quite a few people here. 5 gifted. Thank you, sir. It is always appreciated. Makes it so we can pick up cases for people. W, Tony. I think that would be cool. Tony, I think that would be cool too. I just want to know if he's okay with a bigger case, because we would... The cases that I have here are bigger. Unless he likes white. I do have a smaller white one. What do you think? Yeah, thank you for the follow. Bless Plate. Over there on the Twitch. I wish I could take the camera with me. One day we'll be able to do that. Just, it is not this day. Let's go case shopping in the back here. Hey, what's up, Steve Anderson? Welcome back to the Build Show. How are things going today? Things are going fantastic, man. It's Thursday. We're headed into celebrating 250 years of America. Sunny Side Down, thank you for the follow over there on the Twitch as well. I'm gonna go case shopping really quick, guys. Let's see what we have. I have an idea, but it's a bigger case, but I think he would like it. I think he'll like it. This is gonna take me a minute. All right. We have the Landcool 217. This has the wood finish on the front. You think he'd like this? It's an ATX mid-tower. Pretty big. It's quite a big size. Do you think he would like it? Oh, Sunny Side Down, thank you for the, oh, wait, what was that? What did I miss? Sunny Side Down, follow. For some reason, we got Bless Ploit twice on the follow. Not sure why. Let's see. Oh, thank you for the follow. Christ. Yo, hello. I have a big question. Well, thank you for the follow, first of all, and first time chat. Welcome to the Build Show. Shoot away. Ask the question. You guys think the Landcool 217 is going to be a good match for this? I know we have a micro ATX board and an ATX case. The other option is this, guys. This thing, which is white, like a dual chamber case, micro ATX, is just super tiny. Limits is, it's by Dark Flash. It's the C275P, and it says it's a luxury micro ATX PC case, and it's in white. I don't know if he likes white. Well, thank you for the follow, Hippie Stoner. So in the next week, I buy a new PC. This is Christ 100. I think I can't tell if that's Christ 100 or Christ L. So in the next week, I buy a new PC. It has an RTX 4060 i5 13400F, 32 gigs of RAM, and I want to be sure I buy a beast. Well, the i5 13400F, 32 gigs of RAM, that's a decent platform. It's not super old, but it's not, you know, the latest and greatest. The 4060 is not considered a beast, but it is a great card to start with for 1080p. Let's go. I dropped a follow. You'll be working on my fiance's PC. Okay, awesome. I assume that'll be the second PC today on today's stream. And thank you for the follow. What case do you guys think we should go with? The Dark Flash C275P or the Lian Li Landcool 217? I also have a Montech XR. You know, the Montech XR would probably fit the best. I do have that. I actually forgot I had that. Which case do you think should go? It is, in fact, the second PC. Well, thank you for the clarification. My wife loves her wireless PC power button. Nice. Now the cat can't turn off the desktop. There you go. We're solving problems out here, one at a time. Daniels. Got it. Come on, guys. Feedback on the cases. Montech XR, Lian Li Landcool 217, or a Dark Flash C275P. Which one? Do I have to put a vote out here? We're just gonna vote it. Bleep it. It is a bleep it stream, right? Why won't it let me? Must contain between 1 and 35 characters. Oh, that was too big. All right, the poll is out there on YouTube if you guys want to vote on the case. Those are our 3 options. Let's see what we land with here. Oh, we got 100%. Oh, it's changing. You say land cool? Right now we're at 67% for the Leon Lee Land Cool 217. Nice. Of course, it's the most expensive case in the lot. I don't care. It's been sitting here for 3 months doing nothing. For the record, the only reason why I want to upgrade him to a different case is because of this mesh. Somebody, where he bought this PC off of Marketplace, and somebody really jacked up this case by putting this on there. Smart to do that because it adds more airflow. It just doesn't make it easy to fix that or to clean fans, etc. So I need to change to a RTX 3080. The 3080 would be more powerful than the 4060. Yes, that would be. Do they make external drives for old PC games? PC CD games? Yes. In fact, I have one here. So, I know it's dusty because it's been sitting here, but this is a external drive by LG. I think they're like 40 or 50 bucks. The DVD writer, portable. But just a USB connection. That's it. I have one because I still run into a situation where I need to run a CD or a DVD. Believe it or not. Yeah, you're welcome. You can pick them up on Amazon. It's just an external DVD drive or a DVD writer. Yeah, if you want more graphics, depending on what games you play, the 3080 is definitely going to be the better option. What about AMD Ryzen 7 5700X and a 37, 8 gig, and 32 gigs of RAM? That's not bad. I assume your Facebook Marketplace shopping. The downside is the 3070 has 8 gigs of RAM versus, say, the 3080, which it can be either the 10 gig or the 12 gig version, which has more VRAM, and that sets you up to support better 1440p performance, which is pretty much the gold standard today. If you have the 3070, you're going to be limited in 1440p. My 2060 is getting old. Gotcha. Well, I mean, the 3070 would be an upgrade. Definitely an upgrade from the 2060. So, but 3070, 8 gig is starting to show its age, especially if you're playing 1440p. So it depends on what resolution you're playing at. So, all right, we're going to go with the Leon Lee Land Cool 217 for him. Hopefully he's okay with the case size. It is a lot bigger. But for the record, I didn't get a response from him, so... or let me check the chat. Just want to make sure he's not sitting here in the chat saying, "No, don't do that!" He's working right now, so he's going to be out in about 9 minutes. So hopefully he catches up here. All right. This is a GTX 1660 Super Gaming X by MSI. So it's going to be paired to a MSI motherboard, which is actually pretty cool. So we had a overwhelmingly vote for the Lian Li Landcool 217. The exclamation point build command is yesterday's. Ignore that. We're doing fix it or bleep it tonight, so there was just too much for me to type out, and I just didn't update it. I'm being absolutely lazy tonight. Sorry, guys. Ignore it. Pretend it doesn't exist for tonight. But if you're curious, I will answer any questions you have on it. All right, so we're gonna free up our motherboard and get this thing out of here. Where's my screw? There it is. Well, technically, this board doesn't need to leave the case if we are putting a new case or putting it all in a new case anyway. So still don't see a response from him, so it'll be a surprise. For Ryzen 5 5500, the RTX 5060 is not an overkill? No, I don't think so. In fact, the 5060 will have a little bit of a bottleneck from the 5500, meaning the 5500 slower. So, well, this is not cool. We have SK Hynix, and then we have Samsung memory. They're both 8 gigs. One is 266, and the other one's 2400. So that means the entire lot is going to run at 2400 megahertz, which is kind of sad. And this other kit is another Kingston Fury. I'm pretty sure these are also 8 gigs each at 16, so he's got a total of 32 gigs. It's just slower, 2400 megahertz DDR4. So we might get some wonky results with the RAM, but that's okay. 32 gigs today, I'd take it, especially for the price of today's RAM. Kind of crazy. So I gotta somehow get this undone. I'm not undoing that. The other problem we might run into on the bigger case is this is a budgety power supply. So we might have to get extension cables specifically for the 8-pin EPS cable that I'm trying to rip out of this motherboard. Just stuck. There we go. Sometimes bigger cases don't fit these budget power supplies very well, or the cables on these budget power supplies don't fit the bigger cases very well. So that's another thing we have to consider. But I'm not worried about it because I have extension cables. So the next thing we're going to pull out is our hard drive. It's sitting in here barely with one screw. Two screws, three, not all four of them. Get it. I assume he wants the hard drive for the extra storage. The previous builder used the incorrect screws on this, but that's okay. Not going to destroy the threads because they are pretty close. But when you use the wrong screws on components, you destroy threads. Hey, what's up, Gary? Welcome back to the Build Show. Taste the rainbow, PSU. Yes, it is. We do have some ketchup and mustard cables tonight. And welcome back to the Build Show. I've seen the Ryzen 5 5500. It's the same with i5 11400F. Pretty close. Pretty close. Gonna set this over here temporarily because we're drop the power supply out. There it goes. This is absolute pleasure. Some of these cables are a little suspicious. Oh, it's an Antec. I was gonna say, what is this thing? Look at this tank guard. Oh my gosh. Look at this. That is a nightmare waiting to happen. Holy crap. You see this, guys? Let me zoom in for this. Kind of glad I took this out and found this. That, if it would ever, come on camera, work with me. Work with Daddy. Focus. Focus. It has this wonderful autofocus feature that sucks. There we go. So yeah, this is a total disaster. I am very happy that we discovered this. This is a fire waiting to happen. Not drawing that much power, but still. Scary, nonetheless. It's been planted, yeah. Wonder if he was experiencing anything like random PC shut. Anyway, thought I'd share that. Kaboom! Yeah, some giant idiot. Kaboom. Hey, you saw my toes. Oh, look at those. Told you it was a lazy Thursday. But thankfully, that is nothing on the power supply. That is simply just a Molex to fan connector. That is what's powering all these fans in its system. Is this really messed up Molex connector, which should be removed immediately and thrown in the trash, so it doesn't start a fire. So, and it's gone. So that is that. All right, so now that we've saved him and his house from a fire, we do want to get this power supply cleaned up, and we could clean up the graphics card a little bit. So we have successfully salvaged everything out of this system that we're going to salvage. I'm going to button this back up because we're going to be putting in the new case. He had no idea, by the way, he was getting a new case today. And the chat decided you're getting the Lian Li Landcool 217 Black ATX mid-tower. Got some really nice wood finish on the front, too. Oh, wait. We can put this back in there because we're not going to use this. I forgot the hard drive cage too, but I'll just throw that in there. Nobody cares about that. Alright, everything that we're going to salvage is out. Now it's cleaning time. It's time to clean this bad boy. It's a little dirty. A little bit dirty. That's why they're selling it. Yeah, I would assume, yeah. Couple CODs, Avatar, RoboCop. What are we talking about? Bundle and a few others. What about y'all? Holy, what happened to those Molex cables exactly? That's what I'm saying, is fire waiting to happen. Alright, so we know it's the Lian Li. I'm going to drop that off the chat so I stop looking at that. It would be a shame to put all these dirty parts in a brand new case, right? That was a terrible idea. We're going to take this one outside. Well, that kind of made a huge mess. No, we're doing the Fix It or Bleep It episode. That power supply. That's a disgusting mess. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of shit in my... Excuse me. There's a bunch of stuff in my cup now. Well, that's much better. Almost brand new. A lot cleaner, healthier looking. And so is that. Much cleaner. So now we can break the motherboard out. Get this going. Let's see here. Should I probably clean my PC? It's been smoking cigars for about 6 months. You should probably give it a nice clean. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. Too bad of a plan. GMR, yeah, I know I should have, but I never thought I would spend more, so I had to for my budget. What's going on? Okay, so guys, this is mine. He's over on Twitch, guys. How bad is it? First time buying a PC, so I didn't know. I should have checked properly. Well, if you go look at the YouTube chat, you're actually getting a new case out of this. So I hope you're okay with a bigger case. I couldn't stand to look at that thing. I'm giving you a new case. You're getting a Lian Li Landcool 217 that was voted by the popular votes over there on the YouTube chat. What's the specs, Ant-Man? So this is going to be, it was a Intel i5 6th gen with some DDR4 RAM on a hard drive and I don't even know what motherboard it was. With a GTX 1660 Super, we're upgrading to a AIM-4 B550 with a Ryzen 5 5500, adding an SSD, taking the RAM out of the old system, the power supply, and the GTX 1660 Super, and the hard drive from the old system. And we're also giving him a new case. So, and we just finished cleaning up some of the parts. Now we're ready to start assembling the new system. So that's where we are. That's what it was, and that's what it is going to be. Hey, what's up, Alex? Welcome back to the Build Show. Making some progress here. Oh, and then we also found a Molex connector in the system that was probably a fire hazard. If I didn't change the case out, we probably wouldn't have discovered that. Unless I redid the cables, which very well could have done that, but would have been less likely that I discovered that. Let's see what kind of, I'm going to save the boxes for you. I don't know if you want those or not. Some people do. Let me see if I get a better... Oh yeah, much better. You're also getting a cooler upgrade because we would have gone with the stock air cooler. I'm going to get you a better cooler. This is also a stack cooler, but it's got a lot of copper on it and heat pipes. This thing is way more effective than the other one. And it has RGB on it. These are retro, in my opinion. They're older, they're cooler. Really cool. That's why I have these things sitting around here. First of all, don't touch the thermal. You know what? We're gonna wipe this thermal paste. I don't know how old this is. We're gonna put Arctic MX4 on there. Not that the 5500 at all needs it. I'm just a freak. Yeah. Bear with me. Already applied dots onto this thing. Okay. MX4 by Arctic. Kind of forgot how painful these are to put on. I forgot how difficult these are to put on. Hey. Finally. Yes, it's a much, much better fan. They're pretty cool too. I still like them. All right, we finally got that cooler installed. Now we can install our RAM and our M.2. The mixed RAM. By the way, flipping my PC for the RTX 4060 and gave me Samsung Odyssey G3. Hippie Stoner, what case is going on this one? I was late to the stream. So we're doing the Lian Li Landcool 217. That was based off of a vote on the YouTube. Never mind, I rewatched what you did to open the latch. Yeah, I have no idea what I did. Yeah, I actually, you're right. I did have the latch backwards, which I found out as I was trying to finish putting it together. What's up, chat nerds? Welcome back to the Build Show, Ant-Man. What's for dinner? I forget what, but it was like a chicken pasta, something or other. I haven't eaten dinner yet, though. Typical me, I don't eat before I stream. If I eat before I stream, I like to go take nap. And if I eat and try to take nap while I stream, not good. FSR 4.1 is really good on the 7000 series. I played with it on my 7800 XT last night. Nice. $52 for the lows and $55 for the highs at 4K. That's pretty good. And it was smooth. That's good. That's what you want. Oh, you're good, man. Yeah, everybody has a different budget. Don't worry about it. All right. Drop this SSD in there. We don't want that there. Get going. Yeah. This is a King Spec NX series, 512 gigabyte M.2. Your budget-friendly option. You're not trying to chop off one of your legs or sell your left liver for storage. 512 is the way to go. Okay, so now that that's done, we are ready to get the case out. The new case. He has no idea he's getting this new case, does he? I originally bought this for an order. I can't remember if they changed the case off the decision on the case after I ordered it, or if it was just showing up way too late. I think it was showing up too late, so I went and bought one. And it still showed up. Oh. little bit of a size difference in comparison to what you had before, but I think you're willing to deal with it. Seeing as how this is a much nicer case. And nobody can refuse free 99. This is the Lian Li Landcool 217. Whitty, what's up, man? Oh, you do know. Well, now you know. This is your new case. Oh yeah, it looks way better. The other case wasn't even complete. They took the front panel off and they used an adhesive mesh on the front for better airflow. So it was kind of smart, but it sucks because that means you can't clean it very well. So we're gonna get you a system that you can easily clean and change out, maintain. So it's a lot better to clean it and maintain it. So it's like a fresh start. It is a little bit bigger, so hopefully you have the desk space. But I think you'll figure it out. You can always go on the floor. Hard drive installed. Just so I don't forget it. I have a tendency to forget those. We're going to use the new SATA cables that came with the motherboard versus using the used ones that came from a questionable build. You have a lot of floor space? Yeah, you can put it on the floor then. It'll be fine there. Just if it's carpet, just make sure you don't suffocate the bottom, which is where the power supply is. You'll figure it out. But it is a absolutely beautiful case with the wood finish. I know it doesn't have any fancy RGB in there. Did your other one have RGB on it? I don't think it really did. If it did, it was just that rainbow puke. Did it have RGB on it? Throw a couple of these on the top as exhaust. That'll not only give you a little bit more airflow, but you're gonna need it. but it'll give you a little bit of RGB inside the case. No, only had the RAM and the fans. Had RGB, okay. You'll be able to control this RGB. You'll have two different softwares to control it between the MSI Center and then the AMD Wraith software. Forget the name of it. Those are the two softwares that you'll have to use to control the RGB, but I mean, controllable software. Controllable by the software. All right, so this is a micro ATX motherboard going in an ATX tower, so we do have to change the studs. Change the configuration of the studs before we mount the board. This is your new hardware kit that came with your case. Pretty fancy. You could actually put this back on. I'm not pushing this around. Oh, I forgot the power supply goes in this way, so actually this should come off. Forgot to mount the power supply. Okay. Alright, so we have to change the configuration for micro ATX, which should be so if you ever upgrade to an ATX motherboard later down the road, make sure you remove these. They will be touching the back of the board where it shouldn't be if you ever upgrade to an ATX motherboard. These are the two that I just installed. Motherboard goes in. That's a beautiful case. Oh yeah, I got a $400 PC stand for my PC since I got a carpet. Nice. Yeah, your PC needs a throne, but if you do have carpet, just throw a piece of wood or something down. Make sure it stays away from the carpet. What do we think? Desk for PC or floor, or what was PC on its own desk? I'm not sure I follow the question. That was all over the place. Rewrite that. I don't have a desk. We already covered that. You're okay with the new case, right? A little late for the question, but... that's in. Now we got to get our fans plugged in. We do have a lot more fans. I'm going to install the 2 fans on the top real quick, just to... How does this come off? You just pull. I knew it was a product of Lian Li, so it should be easy. I'll put a couple of RGB fans up here. That way it's you know, shining light down, at least, so you can see the inside of it nicely. And these are just going to be exhaust. And then you have 2 massive fans in the front that are intake, 2 fans on the bottom that are intake, and then a fan in the rear that is exhaust. So you have plenty of fans, and these are Lian Li fans. These are the ones that are already in the system. Really nice fans. Could be super happy with the airflow in this case. Nice, it looks like the one on the 5800 XT. Yeah, it's pretty close. Actually, I think it's the same one. It's the Wraith. Roy, the build is not the right. It's not right, Roy. It's not right. This is the Fix It or Bleep It series tonight, and I did not update the exclamation point build command. I apologize. I have a hardwood floor, so I think that's the same as keeping it on the desk. Yes, could be. Other than when it's closer to the ground, it's closer to the dust. But this case is a lot easier to clean for you. I can even walk you through it. So it's a lot easier to clean it, maintain it now, versus that other case, which was gonna be a nightmare for you. That's the... Oh, that kind of answers that. And these fans that I'm installing, these are just thermal rate fans. They're like $7 a piece. If you ever wanted to add more, you could. You were cleaning fans tonight. White shows the dust. Oh, yeah. Be mine. My build's terrible. Yeah, like a battery air blower for like $30 on Amazon too. Nice. That'll do it. That'll keep it clean. I know you're staring at my wrist when I do that, sorry. And probably the back of my head at some time. Yes, Rudy, there you go. There's good specs. Only because it's a Pelican case. I'm sorry, I missed that cracking. Nice. But there, we have it. Try to zip tie those up so they don't hang down like that. So this whole top panel will come out actually, which makes this job 1,000 times easier. I am being lazy on this fine Thursday. Yeah, I know. Hey, for short people. I'm sorry. My swag. If you need something bigger, let me know and I can make that happen. Well, you got all the brakes and rotors. Oh, nice, Tony. There you go. Got all those done. So now you'll be able to stop. That's good. The basic things in life that we enjoy. There you go. Until we need them. All right. We got USB-C here, SATA here, USB 3 here. Our front panel actually all the way over here, and then our audio, HD audio, is over there. We have addressable RGB all the way up there at the top. And I already have our fan plugged in, so gotta find the RGB. This. Look at how simple this case is. It has its own RGB hub built into the case, which makes managing this and cable managing it a lot easier. It's all built in. Just have to get the connector over to the motherboard. That's it. Which I didn't look for before I flipped it. Pretty sure it's at the top. And it is. Case fan 1 is right there at the top. So, both of these are just going to run straight to the top here. Probably right here. If I were a guessing man. 2XL. Yeah, we could see what we could do. I'm actually thinking about changing my provider, the company that does it. Oh my gosh, this is pretty short. This might actually be a problem, ladies and gentlemen, this F panel being so freaking... This thing is ultra short, so the F panel on this, the JFP1, is like way over here. And this is too short. There's just no way it's gonna get there. How is that even a thing? Well, I'll figure that out. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with that. Guess we're just gonna send it and hope it fits. Nope. What do I do for that, guys? We have a JFP1 extension cable that's supposed to come with this case that I'm not aware of. Holy smokes. I don't think I've ever ran into this before. I could go digging and see if I have an extension somewhere. And for the time being, we'll just jump it with a screwdriver. That's our power button, is basically where the problem is. Short by like 1.5 inches. Interesting problem. Have you ever built inside a Cougar Airface 180? Actually, I don't think I have. I'm about in a day or two, in this case you're building in, with its two frontal intake fans. It reminded me of it. Oh, this is a Landcool 217. It's a massive case. All right, I'll take a look and see what I can do for you there for the merch. Yeah, they're both big lads. Yeah, this is a decent sized case. You can pretty much put anything in here. It's big. Limited obviously to a 360 millimeter AIO on the top, but everything else that you can imagine is doable. The only problem I have is this particular motherboard, for some reason, has the JFP1 all the way over here in the middle instead of where it typically is on a motherboard over here. And of course, this case has a short front panel connector. So, something I didn't think of. I think I have extensions somewhere in this mess. I just need to locate them. If it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be in this box. And this box is... so I can navigate it. Biggest problem is all my. Big zip tie. Well, for now, I'm just going to put a power button on it. If we can turn it on, turn it off. Oh, you could do that with a screwdriver if you wanted to as well. But we are going to need some sort of extension. I don't know where on earth I could find one. Let me go look at Micro Center. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is probably either order one or me find one somewhere. I've seen them here before. I have them. I just have no idea where the hell they would end up being. Yes. Like, I have random boxes of just crap. You can even try to make one. Cut one off of, cut one off of another PC case and, make it. We'll figure that out after the stream. What we're gonna do. And or if I could find it. So. In the meantime, we just have a little clicky-click button temporarily until we figure out how to get this extended to that, unless there's any here for your front panel. The other thing I could check. I don't like taking no for an answer, guys. I think it is kind of silly. I mean, we are doing the micro ATX motherboard thing in an ATX case, but yeah. Good night. So that will have to just stay loose, unfortunately. But we'll make it work. No extension needed. You have to go deeper. No leeway on the front panel cables is, yeah, I know. Well, we are doing a micro ATX board in a case designed for an ATX board, but I still think it's kind of silly that they made it so tight that it was almost impossible. And the front panel connector on this motherboard is not in the standard location. That is also the downside to that. But regardless, I think it's kind of silly that we had to go through all that. Go, I don't need that. And we got it plugged in. Look at that. Not as fancy of a tape run. No problem. We figured it out. Solutions engineer for life. Get him a server fan first PC. Yeah. I bought a micro ATX because the other case was a micro ATX and I didn't know that one was that big. Pass. Oh, right. I didn't know I was going to do this for you either. It just kind of happened. So, decided in the moment, hey, let's upgrade the case. Yeah, I know. If I would have told you to get an ATX motherboard if I knew. I definitely would have told you. Okay, so now that we've royally spent way too much time on that, let's get back to what we were doing. For the record, I think we're going to have to use that extension on this 8-pin connector as well. Right. Nice. This cable that I have running between the board is just the USB for the fan, so be able to get that out if you're... Okay, that looks much better. Now that we have that done, need to clean this up a little bit. Zip ties. Really all it is a power switch and a LED. We probably could have pinned that out if we had to. Worst case scenario. But we got it to stretch. And I need to clip this. we go. And now we got to install a power supply. New problem. Put this on because it one of those front facing, and this likes to push out of here. This pushes the power button to the off position. When it's in all the way. My gosh. Okay, we just trimmed it. Give it a little trim. No exposed wires. Still doing its job. One thing after another here. Check your front door and make sure nobody erected a statue on the doormat. What do you mean? Wasn't me. What series of phenomenal design decisions you are facing? I know, it's quite amazing, isn't it? I have to do it for once for memes. Not gonna lie, server fans in gaming rig would be so stupid, but I love the idea. Not so bad. Briefcase PC. There you go. Sorry, I've been heads down trying to get this done. We still have a second PC to deal with today. My daughter is cranky, I said the word. No, don't ever say that. She must have skipped her 2 scoops of raisins and sunshine. Yes. Make sure. Okay. For the love. Ugh. Let me see what I got for the extensions. You'd think, man, he should have something, right? See any colors you like? Nope. I definitely got blue and black. That'll help. Or the blue. This color. I got a 24 pin and a 8 pin for the graphics card at least. Let's see. Well, that's a 12 volt high power connector. This is actually really nice. Have that sitting here. I love blue. Alright. The only thing I don't have is a blue EPS cable. Maybe. They're all PCIe. PCIe. Got a black and white one. You barely see it. You'll barely see that one. Run that. So these extension cables are pretty cool because they can help hide some of the ugly ketchup and mustard cables there. And give us a little bit of an extension. Back in there. Oh my gosh. Look a little cleaner. Oh yeah. Why do you... Wait, what did you say? Why do they make those two connectors on the power supply to GPU separate? I don't know what you mean by that. You mean the pigtail? The pigtail is there for an extra 8-pin, although it's still drawing the same power under the... Oh, thank you, Loop. I'm completely missed you over there. On the kick. Sorry, I haven't seen anybody over there in a while. It's a pigtail, so it's just drawing the same power on the same cable, so it's actually a bad thing, because if you use it, you're also chancing not sending enough power to the card if it's asking for more than what the one cable can offer. So I don't typically recommend using the pigtail if you can avoid it. All right. This case is Ultra. Working it out of. When you have the right components, that is. But you see that? Now you can remove your mesh in the front. No problemo. And you can remove the mesh on the top. All right, who's ready? Yeah, computer, fire up for the very first time, and hopefully it works. Yeah, that build command, DEFCON. Sorry, the build command is actually out of commission for the night. It is an old version. It was actually yesterday's stream. Yeah, Tony, I'm trying to do a good job. All right. And so, let's go. Are you ready to tell me to smash that button? Like you are. He's been waiting about a week now, maybe a little over. It's been a few days at least. Let me know when you're ready for me to smash this button. Ready? He said, let's go. Does that count? Yes, sir. All right. 3, 2, 1. Well, we're gonna bypass it. Right now we're gonna bypass this. Go figure. There's something going on with this. I don't know. Oops, sorry. Like here, show the back of the monitor. I see every time I move my mic, moves the camera. Anyway, we got it fired up, so the good news is that I don't know what the deal is with that. We'll have to play with that too. It's always something here, guys. It's always something. Trial and error, yeah. So I removed that and plugged it directly into the power supply to fire it up. We don't have a post yet. There we go. Now we have a post. So it is successfully powered on and posted. Yeah, except for the fact that the power cable, for some reason, I did cut it, but I mean, I only cut the plastic around it. I didn't actually cut the cable. So I wonder if it's just not pushed in hard enough or something. I don't know. Interesting. I might just give him a different power supply, to be honest. I hate myself, but we're probably gonna do that. Yeah, I got power supplies. I might just put a different power supply in here. Yeah, it's an old school fan. The AMD Wraith Prism is the cooler name, and it's made by AMD, obviously, and it's was previously included with like the 2700X or the 2700. I think it was 2700X and up, or the 1700, Ryzen 7 1700. I think the 3700X was including those as well, and then eventually they stopped sending them with the Ryzen 7, so you stopped seeing those. Yeah, Cooler Master made them. So I'll figure out the power, and I might just change out the power supply. Right now it's trying to boot off of the Windows on the hard drive, so we're going to fix that problem and move Windows to the SSD. I'll be doing that off stream because we do have a second PC to get to. So I'll be working out all these bugs off stream at this point. So we'll start the second. Fix it. Or bleep it. We got really close to bleeping this one, though. I'll tell you what. One thing after another on this. I do want to play with this power supply, though. So I'm going to... plugged in all the way. And I heard power make connection. Okay, it works. So what the H? Weird. I should investigate that so it's not a concern. Anyway. On to the next one. Oh yeah, look at the back of that monitor. Why this camera likes to move like that. It drives me nuts sometimes. On to the next one, finally. Well, it took offense, regardless. It did. No, it was on. It's just, here, I'll show you. This. Another wonderful cluster that I didn't think of. Oh, don't worry, we can zoom in. So this is what's happening here. So this is an extension power cable. When you plug it, look at where these. Look at where that is. Right there. And so the bottom of this connector, which I cut to help mitigate the problem, wants to push that power button into the off position. So, but this, all this does is route the power cable to the back of the PC so you can plug it in from the back. So I guess I gotta trim that a little more. Honestly, probably all I gotta do. I'm just using my snips. Trim this. I'm just shaving little bits off at a time. Don't worry, I got it plugged into the wall. Mostly this side, that's the problem, because it's pushing down on the off. Well, that's better. A little bit better. But you get what I'm doing, right? It's interesting. I think it looks nice. Cooler Master. Yeah. I already read that one. Yeah, the fan's really nice. I like it. Well, I think the build turned out pretty good, other than the weird quirks I have to sort out. And then we have to reinstall Windows onto the SSD. Other than that, not too shabby. Turned out nice. I'm gonna just assume I did a really good job there and put this back on. And it has a glass side panel. Which is toolless entry, just FYI. You don't break it. And on to the next one. This is also for a local supporter. But this one. This one I was testing a lot of fun stuff. So one, I recommended a new cooler on top of the fact that I'm pretty sure the motherboard or the CPU is bad. I wasn't sure which one it is. I didn't have, believe it or not, an AM4 CPU, even though you've seen like 3 of them now. But since then, since I tested it, we did not have an AM4 CPU to test with, unfortunately. And the only one that I had, it was in a system, and I really didn't want to take it apart. So I was like, let's just replace the motherboard, replace the CPU at this point. Because I don't know which one it is. It's one of the two. I can show you what it does do. But there's no heat coming from the CPU, or getting to the CPU at all. No heat whatsoever. This is an iBuyPower PC, and I'm pretty sure the motherboard or the CPU took a dump. Not sure why. This was caked up a little bit. These are not very good coolers, especially for these Ryzen CPUs. These are crap. So I don't ever recommend using those. They're actually worse than using the stock cooler, in my opinion. I think you're better off with the stock cooler. So we also have mismatched RAM, even though they're both Team Group. But one's a T-Force and the other one is one of their older models. But they are both 8 gigs. One's 3,000, one's 3,200. So we can try to make the RAM work together. I'm not sure what the end result's going to be. But we have a new CPU, new motherboard, new cooler for this whole setup. So we're just going to replace all of that and get this thing fired up. Oh yeah, the power cord came with it. Don't forget that. Why I put it all inside the case so it doesn't go missing, especially here with all my crap. So go ahead and get started. Yeah, I cleaned that because I was testing it before previously. So I've already done some testing here. I tested some different RAM, some RAM that I had, tested different video cards. I've tested pretty much everything except for the motherboard and the CPU, which is what I kind of came to the conclusion, okay, we have a bad motherboard or a bad CPU. What I could do, and they could even return it if we had to, is plug the 4500 into the new motherboard and see if it fires up. If it does, which I'm pretty sure it's in the motherboard, then it can save them some money. And they can send the 5500 back. The other thing is iBuyPower never peeled this off the back of the card. I hate it when these get left on because it doesn't allow the metal backplate on the back to do its job, which is to help cool the card. Alright, so let's go ahead and test this out. I'm just gonna, you know what? Let's test the CPU on the new motherboard before we do this. Gonna pull that out. Don't need any of that. We're just gonna do it right on the button. You guys ever do this before? So I'm taking their CPU that was in the system previously, and plugging it into the new motherboard. And I'm not going to replace the thermal paste or anything. I'm just going to place this on there temporarily. Not going to stay on long enough to do any damage. What am I doing wrong? Just enough to give it a little bit of cooling power. Bless me. Basically, I'm just doing this to test the CPU. If I don't open that new CPU, it would be their return. And in the event that it is the CPU, then maybe the motherboard. Although I hate that motherboard that's in there. Thank you. Okay, why can I not do this? What is... I'm not even inside a case and I can't get this EPS cable on. Holy smokes. One thing I always despised EVGA for was their EPS cable. I think that's all we need. We got power. We got display. Technically really don't need a keyboard or a mouse or anything. So, power supply's on, active, ready to go. I'm going to jump it with a screwdriver down here on the 2 pins for the power button. Oh, I forgot power for the graphics card. Whoopsie daisy. This came off my test bench, so I know the power supply is good. And I put these extension cables on here so I don't wear down the 8-pin connectors on the power supply. Smart. Okay. Now let's go. RGB there. Ben, would you believe it if I said my piece of APC UPS wants to not work? Crazy. LOL. CyberPower just got ordered as you speak. Oh, nice. Well, we got no display. Light. Graphics card fan hasn't even turned on yet. That's a little concerning. I wonder what happened to this system. Because I thought I'd narrowed it down. A little bit of a sticky substance on there. still nothing. What do you guys think? I think we're out of music. Oh, it got so quiet, guys. Let's go. We'll play some of this. Change it up for this. No, it doesn't have integrated graphics. It's a Ryzen 5 4500, which does not have integrated graphics. The new CPU does not either. But if I was a betting man, something doesn't smell right with this card either. Something happened to this rig. It's almost like it got wet. That would be my guess, because it's rare for a motherboard and a graphics card to go. Or there could be something wrong with their power supply, and maybe that's part of the problem too. I got another card. This is just a GTX 1660 Super, and I'm 99% sure it works. This one, immediately get graphics card fan spinning. That's a good newer sign. But so far still no post. Might be time to get a speaker out. Board doesn't have a debugger light. So what I'm going to do is plug a speaker into it and see if it's beeping at me. Beeping me a tune. Just a little teeny tiny speaker dude. Also got to pull one of these sticks. See what that does. Try the RAM. Yeah, I know. Yeah, right now I'm testing the... Well, I'm down to pulling a stick of RAM again. But, CPU is not looking so hot here, guys. It should definitely post off of one stick. And still nothing. So, I'll try, just for S's and G's, the other stick of RAM. see what it does. Still nothing. No beeps either. And no beeps is usually a good indicator that you got something wrong with your CPU. So, I'm going to drop the CPU in there. We're going to do that now. At this point. I'm 99% sure it's while we're at it, I'm gonna swap the card out too, back to the old one. Which means the motherboard might be fine on the old PC, which we could test if this posts. We could test that and verify. And we'll see what they want to do, if they want to run the old board or if they want to... You're internally screaming right now. Well, that was the old CPU, so this is the new CPU that we are installing to see if it posted. So that was just me verifying I was right on the CPU for sure. So, you know, if you could return the new CPU and get some money back, I'd love to save you some money if we could. I am going to put this old cooler back on the new CPU to test. I don't have to break out the new cooler yet. Plug the original card back in. Now, let's see if we get a post. Oh yeah. Way different reaction out of this now. In fact, we now have a post. So we confirmed the CPU is definitely bad. That's what we just did. The graphics card's good. This stick of RAM is good. Or at least the card is displaying. I don't know if it's good. But we got to the BIOS with the new CPU on the new motherboard. So we could take it a step further and put the new CPU on the old motherboard, unless you just want the new motherboard. Oh, thank you. I should probably hydrate. I'm kind of suspecting that motherboard is bad also. You want the new motherboard. Okay, so we're going to say screw it and just keep the new system as is. Well, with the new cooler as well. So, it's pretty. It is. And you have more expandability on this board. You got the additional M.2 and more expansion slots, etc. So, and we have addressable RGB. I don't think the other one had it. So we'll go ahead and shut it down. Now we know the game plan. Now we know our hardware is good and we tested it. So we can rip that other motherboard out with confidence, knowing that the CPU was the problem for sure. And then reassemble the system here. But I just want to show you guys some of the troubleshooting steps that you would have to go through to troubleshoot something like this. Sometimes it takes buying some extra hardware to do it if you don't have hardware sitting around to verify, and just swapping the parts and playing with it until you find which one works and which one doesn't. It's a process of elimination here at this point when you have something like this where it's just nothing on the screen. But typically when you don't get beeps, any type of beep with the speaker on the motherboard, it's usually the CPU when there's no codes whatsoever. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take this apart and get our out of the system. And we could leave the CPU in that socket, but this is the old one here in the plastic. Not that you want to do anything with that. You got your pretty Ryzen sticker. All right, so let's take this apart. The only other thing I didn't test is this other stick of RAM in here, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work because it was working before. Thank you, Bench Power Supply, for your services. And test GPU. We'll get that wiped up. We're going to be applying new paste with the new cooler. But that's an easy way of testing all that. Now back to this. That is tight. I'm gonna have to go in the back and figure out why it's tight. I don't pull any cables, break anything. Get the storage out of here. That has to go on the new board. It's also tight. Could use a pretty good clean too. Look at, this is how they run it, and then just, I don't like that. It's too tight. Cables are not meant to be that tight. They do that so they can make it look nice and neat, but it looks neat, but it's super tight on the cables. Not good for the cable. So that's freed up looser, so I could undo this without damaging the cable. Alright, now we get the motherboard out. We are going from a micro ATX motherboard to an ATX motherboard. This board does actually have an additional M.2 slot on it. Amazing work. I could have never. No, it's just process of elimination. Nothing super spectacular. I'm going to put your extra M.2 stud and screw on the board. So in the future, if you ever add an SSD, the screw will be there waiting for you. It doesn't get lost. And before we go any further, I'm actually going to put the cooler on here before we put it in the case. This is a much larger CPU cooler than the other one. And that's like the minimum I run. It's pretty. Yeah, we're definitely putting the new CPU pin in. Yes. I will refuse to use the other one. I will tell you right now, there's no way I'm doing that. I think that's actually part of the reason why your CPU died. My PC needs so many updates. That's what you get for not using it for 3 weeks? Yeah. You see the problem it says right on the left side. Yeah, it was not built very well. Poor choice on the components by iBuyPower. They would have spent $10 more on their CPU cooler. This problem would have never happened. All right, we're going back to the Arctic MX4, the thermal paste again. We got the Ryzen 5 5500 on the brand new B550, and we got our new Thermalright Assassin X120 tower air cooler. We are definitely going to make sure that this problem does not happen again on this kit. And their CPU will no longer be thermal throttling. Definitely was happening on that old cooler, even with a 4500, which is like a 65 watt CPU draw. 65 watt draw from the CPU. That thing can't even handle 65 watts in my opinion. Alright. Get the fan on there. We got the heatsink on. Now we just need to add the fan, which is a full 120 millimeter adjustable RGB fan that goes on this. Bigger. And it's got 4 heat pipes, and the 4 heat pipes run up the side or vertically where these fins are, and the fan pushes the air through and cools the fins, which cools the heat pipes. But the heat pipes is actually what draws the heat off of the, we call it the cold plate, up, because there's a gas in the pipe that reacts to the heat and it pulls it up. So that is why there's heat pipes, and that's why it's designed the way it is. Designed to pull the heat away from the CPU as quickly as possible, and then the fan, just like a radiator in a car, continues to cool it. It does not. I do have a motherboard sync cable. Here's the addressable RGB. Got one down there, so we're good. Good to plug in here, not worry about filling up the ports. Alright, so next we have to deal with, we had a micro ATX motherboard in here. Now we're installing an ATX motherboard. What does that mean? It means we have to move some studs again, just like we did in the other one. But to make it ATX, not micro ATX, so we have to move this one and this one. If we don't, it'll actually be touching on the back of the motherboard where we don't want it touching, and it can actually cause problems. So you got to move those. If you don't, you can burn out your board. And it would be 2 less mounting points that you would have for the ATX motherboard. It's just as simple as what I did. I just moved them. This is this driver's from Gamers Nexus. It's the I actually don't know what this is. The size of this thing. Free is great, yes. If it's any benefit, I got the entire PC as a gift. We love free. Yes, nice. Well, that means you have a very good you got a very good PC for the price. If you're only spending the money on the motherboard. Definitely gonna help you out there. Alright, so with that being said, that being done, just need to make sure all these cables are going to be out of the way. We can drop this motherboard in there. Before I do that, actually, I feel like we need to give this thing a good clean. This is pretty dirty. The fans are pretty dirty. To clean these off, all of them. like we might be smoking by our PC. Tell because it's sticky. This is actually interesting case. I always thought this case was interesting. Oh my gosh. Oh dear God. It's alive! So, I don't know if you noticed, but your dog is inside your computer. That is, quite the build-up. What the heck? No. What did we find? I don't know, man. I think we know where all the airflow is coming, though. I'm not making fun of you. It's just, when you come across something like that, you gotta laugh. And it probably isn't even yours if you got it for free. So this is also really gross, so I'm going to take this out and blow it out. We're gonna, one by one. So this is just a test of patience. You gotta hit each blade. This makes it a lot faster if you could hit it with a paintbrush and break it loose. You could blow it out with air. Some sort of brush breaks it up. So it comes off nice and easy with air. I'm not shaming anybody. Have you seen my PC? My PC is gross. You come here when you pick this up and laugh at my PC. I'm so busy cleaning other people's PCs and so much dust comes in here because of other people's PCs. I just gave up on my computer. I was like, you can look like you work at a factory, dude. And I've been meaning to do a how to clean your PC, but here we are doing it right now. What I'm hoping with the brush is that it just breaks up all this gunk. Nice. Screw just appeared out of nowhere. To get clean too. Pretty sure this comes out. Right. These need to be stoked. So I've soaked them clean, wetted them. So I'm gonna blow them out so they dry faster with some air. And we're also gonna blow the case out now. So I will be right back. This is gonna take a moment or two or three. So hang tight. Need these two. All right, that took forever, but we got that cleaned up, so much better looking at least. We just need to wipe this down. Somebody stole my window. Three brick. Unfortunately, the build command is a little bit out of date. It is yesterday's build, unfortunately. Outdoor camp. I don't know if I'll be able to do that anytime soon. Maybe. Sometimes the computer needs to go outside to get cleaned out. It's a little too bad. Like, for example, when I started blowing that power supply on the first build, all that dust popped out. I was like, oh, that should have gone outside. And it's dark outside right now, so the lighting, even if I had a camera, it would have been terrible. But ideas for the future stream maybe. Those cost money, so would love to give you all the views I can. Working with what I got. This camera that you're watching from right now is a $1,200 camera, just to give you an idea. Cameras are not cheap, nice ones anyway. This has got a 20x zoom on it, so we can zoom in. With an autofocus feature, which sucks. Doesn't always work, but it tries. So I do what I can, what I got. Not entirely happy. And then we'll get to the exterior. May as well just do this real quick. Alright, that looks so much better. So that's going to light up when we get those RGB fans on there. It's going to look nice. That is ultimately what we're aiming for. Nice and clean. computer before we put it back together. A little bit of driplets of water did get in here because of those meshes, but I blew the majority of it out. I already tested the computer outside of the case, so we know it works. Beyond it. See how this build's gonna go. But these turned out really nice after we washed them. There's still some halo rings on the inside of this one, but really hard to see those. They turned out way better looking than just blowing the dust off. Needed a little extra scrubby dub. The dog hair will probably get 1 million views. I don't know. Should we clip that? Still updating, by the way. Holy smokes. A small YouTube. I can relate as a small YouTube. Okay. Yeah, I know the cameras are expensive. I wish I could, you know, go out and buy $15,000 worth of equipment and give you guys a really cool experience with everything that I'm doing. I have a really cool setup. Make it easy for me to manage it as well, because I have to manage all of this while I'm streaming and building and talking. It's a lot of work. But we're actually nearly finished with this. So, looking good. That's there's two fan headers, or two fan header requirements for this. Got one down here. Kind of sucks. What am I gonna do? Find them, pull them through, and redeploy them. This guy needs to come down here. That's... Why is there two? It's so weird. Of course, it's there and there. Such great placement. I don't typically do this, but because fan header is right here. Sorry if my big fat head's in the way. Is that a Lee LTT screw? Why? How did you notice? Yes. That is a LTT store screwdriver. Yeah, I didn't know that I was going to like it as much as I do. And since I've started using it, really hard not to. Probably my favorite screwdriver. At least while building. It is my favorite. All right. The card is surprisingly in pretty clean shape. Meaning I kind of expected it to be dirtier, more dirty. It's actually in pretty good shape. Not in any way complaining. Curious as to why the card is in such better shape. This is a RX 560. Very weak for today's standards. 4 gig card, at least. But it was one of the better RX 560s of its time. I don't know what games you guys play, typically. But that is something that you'll probably want to upgrade as well. Sure. Is the graphics card. Definitely better performance out of this as a gaming PC. Oh, thank you, Tony. Okay, done with updates. Now shaders have to... Yeah, the shaders. I hate Call of Duty because of that. You wanted to play a game? Well, we've got 5 minutes of shaders. We'll tell you it's 5 minutes, but actually it's going to be like 15. Thanks, Call of Duty. All right. Now it's time to button the case back up. Then we can let her shine. I did. I left it outside. Honestly, if anything, this thing is restricting airflow more than it's doing anything. We'll put it back in there. I hate filters on the top. There's a little bit of a scratch on the glass there. I don't know if you see that. Unfortunately, nothing I could do about that. Yeah, it is very satisfying when it comes together nicely. All right, so now we fire it up to see if it works. Most of the work there was testing it and cleaning it. I feel like good shape. Are y'all ready? Y'all here to see this thing fired up? side view. Yes, sir. Smash that button, they say. I know I'm ready. All right. So if you are ready, go. Okay. If you're ready to go, we're going to go on 3, 2, 1. Look at the front, too. Told you that glass is going to look way more mesmerizing. Nice and clean. And we do have a post, so that's a good sign. And we're booting to Windows. We're underway. Did you want me to wipe this clean and reinstall Windows fresh? Meaning I delete all the data? Yeah, it's much more fresh. Did you want it to end up with a fresh installation of Windows, like it's a brand new system? I hate post. I have post problems. That annoys me. I'm sorry. Yeah, fresh installation. We could do that. We'll do a fresh install of Windows. So no, just for the record, no data will be saved. Everything will be deleted. Still loading shaders, by the way. I cleaned a PC by the time before you were done loading shaders in Call of Duty. Oh, your Adtech C8 have only bottom filters, and it doesn't make a proper job. Doesn't do a proper job. Yeah, I like filters. I just don't like them on the top because that's all exhaust. So the air by the time it's getting to the top should be already filtered. So it's kind of pointless to have the filter on the top. Nice, it's on your GitHub. All right, I'll wipe it clean and we'll reinstall Windows. I'll just put a local admin account on there with no password, so when you pick it up, you can do whatever you need to do to it. But the physical side is done. Now we just need to do the software side. That means on 3 PCs. I'm not going to go crazy, but I'm going to try to get as much of it done as I can tonight. As it's already midnight, so we're an hour past the event. The event was supposed to end at 11. I thought I could do 2 in 3 hours, but had a little bit of extra work with the new case that we added with the other build, and then the extra cleaning that we had to do on this one. But it's okay. Had to be done. Ben is awesome. I've learned so much watching this channel. Well, you got to see how to clean up a PC. So if you're into flipping PCs, that's what you got to do to clean it up and make it look nice. Put in some elbow grease. Your top fans are intake. They should not be intake. Typically those are exhaust, but I don't know the case that you're running, so I can't argue too much. Yeah, intake on the top is not the best. Typically you have intake on the side, front, or bottom, and then the top and rear is supposed to be your exhaust. But again, I don't know what case you're in. So it's the View 170. The 170. So that's a micro ATX tower. So that would explain it, because it doesn't have the side fans, or does it? Does it have the side fans? The 2 side fans on the 170? Yeah, it does. I think it does have the 2 side fans. for intake. So those should be exhaust. Are you running an air cooler or are you running an AIO? What GPU is that? That's an RX 560 4GB graphics card. Definitely needs an upgrade. Definitely needs an upgrade. If I had more cards that weren't slated for other things that I have plans for, I'd give them a GTX 1660 Super, which would run circles around this thing. Yes, I would flip the two. I have 4 intake fans, 1 exhaust. So you have the 1 in the rear, 2 in the side, or 2 in the bottom. And then the 2 on the top. So if you got the 2 on the side as intake, that would be good enough. Or the 2 on the bottom, that should be good enough for intake. And then the 2 on the top and the 1 in the rear should be exhaust. 2 side, okay. Yeah, those should be intake on the side. The 2 on the top should be exhaust. You're running an air cooler. So you actually might. So sometimes with air coolers, you could play with it and see what the temp difference are. But sometimes with air coolers, the top fan in the front, you make that intake and you make the rear one exhaust. Because this fan sitting here is actually suffocating the CPU if it's exhaust. So play with it and see if there's a difference in temps with only the front fan being intake and the rear top fan exhaust. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes with the front top fan in front of the cooler will suffocate the CPU cooler. So try that, play with it, and see if it makes a difference in temps. It probably will. So what's happening with them both being intake is that if you have a tower air cooler like this, your hot air is trying to go out the back of the cooler, and this rear fan is supposed to be sucking it out. And it probably is getting most of it, but the top fan behind is pushing air down. So your heat is actually landing on your GPU. So heat coming from the CPU could be landing on the GPU, and it could be increasing your GPU temps. So the rear top fan definitely needs to be exhaust, because you want that hot air to come out and then up and out. If it's rising, you want it out. The front fan is the only one that you potentially could be running as intake on the top. I'm going to love my PC more if someone can find the problem. But my PC is a year old. Well, join the Discord and post your problem there. We could try to help you out. It's !Discord for the link to the Discord. But if you're having troubles posting, then it could be memory. That's actually the most common problem is your RAM. I'm on the Discord for quite some time. Oh, okay. I'm sorry if you're already on there. Have you posted the issue before? Have we talked about it? You have to get my attention and tag me. There's a lot going on in my life. Yeah, I have the Ryzen 5 5600 and GTX 1060 6GB. Okay. Ticket 002. Oh! Had no idea that was there. If you're not getting a response, just post in the hardware chat or somewhere else and tag me. I'll go take a look at the ticket after this, though, and I'll see what I can figure out. See what I can recommend. Actually, I'll pull it up right now. Anybody else grab that ticket? Is that why I didn't see it? Oh, you dropped the ticket just recently. I see. Within the time that I was streaming. I see it. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to sit down and look at Discord since I started the stream, so I will take a look at this and see what I can figure out here. Yeah, it's a nice build. Do you mind if you have the exact model number of your RAM, can you post that on the ticket? Because I'm going to look up your motherboard model and then see if the RAM is even on the supported QVL list. And then also, have you updated the BIOS on this system since it was built? So it was stable. Ah, so the motherboard changed. It gives you a VGA. BIOS version is okay, so you do have that listed there. I'm wondering if have you tried any other versions, BIOS versions? Yeah, I see that. I see that there at the bottom. The one thing I would check is if you have the exact model of your Corsair Vengeance RAM. If you post that, we can check to see if that's on the QVL supported list for your motherboard, because that's the only thing that's changed in your system. That would be generally the most common issue, is that the problem is with the RAM not being fully supported on the motherboard. The other thing you could try is a previous version of the BIOS, because maybe the BIOS version that you have has a bug. That's very possible. Those things will happen from time to time, so trying a previous version of the BIOS might help. Yeah, those are two things that I would start with. And or, I hate telling you this, fork out some money for some new RAM and try that. That is on the QVL list for sure. It worked well year in the ASRock, okay. You've had trouble since the certificate of Microsoft and bad June update. I have troubles, okay. Hey, good night, Tony. Thanks for hanging out with us throughout the stream, sir. I'm probably going to call it here, too. I'm going to jump. But we got the builds, the two done tonight. I just got to get the software side of things done for these, and then we'll be done. We'll be done. Yeah, good night, good night, dude. Yeah, so next stream will probably be, I would say, middle of the week next week. So we're not going to have another stream throughout the weekend because of the 4th of July. We've got a lot going on. I have my sister's graduation party. I have a nephew flying in from Canada to celebrate the United States, right? No, he's checking out U of M. He's thinking about going to U of M here in Michigan. And then I've got just a packed weekend of stuff. So no stream for the weekend. The next stream that we do happen to do for sure is going to be the pink and white build. Super awesome, just aesthetically pleasing pink and white build that we're going to be doing. That'll probably be towards the later half of the week. If all the parts get here soon enough, we could maybe do it in the middle of the week, like a Wednesday stream. And that'll at least satisfy for a couple of days. And then maybe we do some other budget builds or something on the stream. And we still have this Alienware sitting here that we gotta sort out. This 2003 Alienware. There's all sorts of cool stuff we can stream and do. It's just a matter of having the time to do it. And this week was a really busy week because I had a lot of people drop PCs off over the last week or so, and then drop off parts for fixing, such as this situation. But But yeah, I don't really have any other fix it or bleep it's, so I'll have to renew my posts and see if anybody else wants to bring a PC in. That's really what I'm doing. I'm just posting it on Facebook and having people bring in PCs. So, but that's what we got. So happy 4th of July if I don't see you or hear from you on the Discord between now and Saturday. Happy 4th of July. 250 years of America. Pretty cool. Go celebrate. Don't try to drink 250 beers in one day. That is a terrible idea. And then try to blow stuff up. That's an absolutely terrible idea. Be safe, obviously, and we'll see you guys on the next stream. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night. Happy 4th of July. We'll see you on the next one.